I don't even know what exercise this was. Maybe if I search, I might be able to find it because I know what the sales revenue is. So if I search for 1,250, how? It should be there. 1,250. How come 1,250 or 1,250,000 isn't on there? It should be there. It's too much work to figure out which problem this is they gave us in class because I'm an idiot and didn't write down what problem it was. Sales revenue. Sales revenue. Sales revenue. Sales revenue. Sales 980. Sales. Yeah, where can I possibly find this? I need to just look for the number 1,250,000. But I already searched for it and couldn't find it, so I don't know what's up. How come that's not there? Oh. Was it a problem? Oh, I know why. It's because you had to figure out what the sales revenue was. Great. They didn't give you that. You had to actually calculate it. Now, what did I do wrong? 500,000. There was something to do with 500,000. So it's gotta be here, right? So maybe it was this one. Alright, we have to do this problem. Now this would be a good time to have two monitors to not have to switch between screens repeatedly. It would also be nice if I could just have both of them on the same screen, but it's too hard because anyways, exercise 4.4. Apparently the way I'm going to be studying for this test is just do every single problem we did in class and do every single thing from the online homework. So what do we do here? So okay, administrative expenses. Do they even tell us what it is? How do we figure out what interest administrative expenses are? Okay, cost of goods sold is 500,000. Control A. Point 0.2 times that. So 0.2 times this. And by the way, which one is the correct one? 149,000 seems to be the correct answer, I guess. Because I never did write down the correct answer now, did I? I wrote down how to do the single step income statement, so... But anyways, we have administrative expenses, 8%. So administrative expenses are administrative expenses equals 8% of gross sales. So therefore, in order to get it, you must... I literally wrote it down on my piece of paper already. Equals 0.8 times gross sales. So therefore, in order to get gross sales, you must do 100,000 divided by 0.8. So gross sales equals this divided by 0.8. I totally screwed up. This is not 0.2. Well, yeah, it is, you stupid idiot. Equals 100. This divided by 0.08. Not 0.8, dang it. Because it's 8%. There. There, so we have now got gross sales. So gross sales is and then save. Now you can subtract other things, sales discounts. Sales discounts of 17,000. So therefore, sales revenues equals this minus this. Now what you subtract from sales revenues is cost of goods sold. And then Then what you subtract are selling and administrative expenses. Now we have to calculate selling expenses. Selling expenses. Selling expenses. What the heck is this? What's wrong with this? Screw you. That's such bullcrap, dude. So how do you calculate that? So 4/5. So 4/5 is the same thing as, I wish I could do fractions on this. And whatever. 4/5 is equal to 80%. So 0.8 times what? The operating expenses. Operating expenses equals 4/5 of operating expenses equals sales activities. So selling. So basically we know. Do we know the total operating expenses? No. We don't know the total operating expenses. All they gave us was the administrative expenses. What the heck? How do you do that? We know the administrative expenses, but we don't know the selling expenses, and we know that 4/5 of the operating expenses were linked to sales activities. That is, you actually have to do like algebra to solve that. Are you kidding me? What the heck? Wait a minute. So we know that AE plus SE equals OE. And we know we have two equations. We know what the administrative expenses are. So we can replace AE with 100,000. So 100,000 plus SE equals OE. And 0.8 times OE equals SE. Are they really making you do algebra? They're making you do algebra to solve this question? Dude, is this actually going to be on the test? So now you have to do substitution. You do 100,000 multiplied by, or plus 0.8 times OE. 100,000 plus SE XE equals that, equals OE. I'm literally doing algebra right now. So now what do you do here? Isolate the OE. So 100,000 equals OE minus 0.8 OE. So 100,000 equals, what is 1 minus 0.8? 0.2. So OE equals, we now know that OE is equal to 100,000 divided by 0.2. This divided by 0.2. So now we know that operating expenses are and now selling expenses are what? Selling expenses are equal to 0.8 because they're 4/5 operating expense. So selling expenses are this, and then administrative expenses. Oh. Like, how do you undo the automatic thingy? Administrative expenses are equal to 100,000. So idiot, you didn't need to do that, you could have just done this one. So now that we have operating expenses, is that it for operating expenses? Do we include interest expense? No. Or not in operating expense. So income from operations would be equal to gross profit minus operating expenses. So that's that. And then other incomes and revenues. Or other. All we have are other. I love red herrings. Let's see here. The only other things that they mention are the interest expense and tax expense. So we have interest expense is listed to be 220,000. Income before tax is this minus this, and then tax, income and tax expense equals what? 0.3 multiplied by that number. Net income equals, this feels like a waste of time. Oh, thank God I got the right answer. Holy crap. Earnings per share is going to be equal to net income. So this equals this divided by, so it's net income divided by number of shares. 20,000. How did we get 7? What the? Oh, I know why. This needs to be like this. There. So I think that's right, because that's what I have written down for the single step income statement. So now it's a little bit too much to do the second part. I'll just look at what I wrote down for it. We have revenues equals net sales, and then expenses would be cost of goods sold, administrative expenses. Oh, come on. Of course. I'm pretty sure I'll be fine on that one. Now we look at 4.5. That's funny. There's got to be a simple way to draw a border. Like put a border. Oh. That's hilarious, dude. Well. Hey. Now, we want a right border. We have now drawn the borders. That was kind of stupid, by the way. Exercise 4.5. Well, this is annoying. Rent revenue is included in other revenues. Selling expenses, sales revenue, income tax, interest expense. Interest expense is included in other expenses. I'm probably just going to skip working on that question. And then with a single step format, revenue, sales revenue, revenue total, cost of goods sold, selling expense, administrative expense, interest expense, income tax, total expenses, net income, earnings per share, and earnings per share is net income divided by number of common shares outstanding. Now 4.7. Wonderful. I totally missed it up in class now, didn't I? For 4.7, net sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating expenses, selling expenses, salaries and wage expense, Like, I'm not even doing the question again. I know where rent revenue and interest expense goes. Now, what about market appreciation on land above cost? That's not included. It's not included. That's not included. Salaries and wages expense, supplies, selling, income tax, salaries and wages expense, other administrative expenses. Cost of goods sold, net sales, depreciation. So now, depreciation on plant assets is an expense, and so you include that. Now, dividends declared is not included in the income statement. Cash dividends declared is not included. That's all I have to know. The market appreciation thing is not included. So, and then the one thing I was very confused about. We have completely finished working on this piece of paper. So now I'm looking at, there are 2 more exercises. Weirdly. Let's see how far my phone is far left. I need my phone is charged. 58%. What a miracle. Like, seriously. This new phone is terrible at charging. Should I just charge it overnight? But the problem with charging it overnight is that it becomes fully charged and then you're reducing the battery life by leaving it charged after it's reached 100%. Now, I was so confused by number exercise 4.13, and I was very confused by it, and I don't have the correct answer written down, so do they have an explanation of how to do the discontinued operations thing? Because please show the calculations for that. Please. Oh, how do I find this? Learning objective 3. There. So after the tax, you say income from continuing operations. Then you do discontinued. Net of tax, net income. But the question is, I was not correctly doing that one thing. You know what's so fun? They should have put 36 on this. Or they should have had these in parentheses because it's a negative. What the heck? their net loss overall is this. But to calculate the tax is fun. Like, it's not a negative, it's a negative tax because it's a loss. It's a negative tax. $75,000 is the income is the tax on that income there. It's multiplied by 30%. See, look, that it is a positive tax. There's a positive number instead. Now we have a loss. I'm so confused. Look at what they do. They still subtract the tax. What on earth? Wait, I'm an idiot. I think I'm getting the negatives and positive thing confused because basically they have a loss of $100,000. Now you reduce the loss. Reducing the loss, the tax reduces the loss to $70,000. Like, I don't know what I was messing up before. What I was messing up. What was I messing up before? I was messing up the negative and positive numbers or something when I was doing the calculations. Probably. So, now what? Why do you have us do CA 4.7? It's very simple. Net income, other comprehensive income, unrealized gains, comprehensive income. Very simple. Wow. Look at that. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of going to the thing, I'm just going to continue doing stuff that I have on my notes. On my pieces of paper where I worked out problems in class, which I have now discontinued doing because now I'm using Excel for all of my problems. Are we going to do a problem for chapter 7? Exercise 7.1. Now we must determine I'm just going to study what is cache and what isn't. Now that is something we're going to have to memorize. In fact, there's a nice chart that will allow us to memorize that information. We're going to have to actually do memorization for this class because we can't take an open book test. No open book is allowed. Because this would be stinking nice to have available to us while we're... I didn't already save this one, did I? So So, how to classify cash is here. Now, what is this? No, that's for another class. What's this one? That's for the other class. Because that was the only way for me to save that quote was to take a screenshot. That was so stupid. So I need to study this thing. Cash is cash. If it's restricted, classify as current and non-current assets. You must identify it as restricted. Petty cash and change funds is reported as cash. Short-term paper classification cash equivalent. Investments with the maturity of less than 3 months is often combined with cash. Short-term paper where the investment with the maturity of 3 to 12 months is a temporary investment. They classify it as a temporary investment. Okay. Now, post-dated check and IOU. Post-dated check and IOUs. Let's see. God. A travel advance. So a travel advance is a receivable, and postage on hand is prepaid expenses or office supplies inventory, but we'll just say prepaid expense. Bank overdraft is a current liability. But if right of offset exists, reduce cash. Compensating balance. Cash separately classified as a deposit maintained as compensating balance. So, separately classified as a deposit maintained as compensating balance. Weirdly enough, I'm gonna basically do this problem because I want to just make sure I understand this. Exercise 7.1. Whoopsie. Wrong thing. Am I seriously gonna check my phone every 2 seconds? It's up to 63%. Wow. Hey. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to enter the numbers if we think it's cash. So, commercial save. I'm not even going to look. Cover up the thing. Now I can't look at it. Commercial savings account. So 600,000, 900,000. Travel advance is not cash. Separate cash, restricted, and do not classify in your cash. Petty cash is 1,000. IOU doesn't count. Bank overdraft doesn't count as cash. Company has 2 certificates of deposit maturity. So that is going to be temporary investment. So post-dated check doesn't count as cash. A post-dated check counts as what? Receivable. This is restricted cash, so it doesn't count. Purchased. So this is a short-term investment, so it counts as cash. 2,100,000. I didn't have to type the commas. So 7,700. So that's all the cash total is going to be equal to sum of these. I got the wrong answer. How is this the wrong answer, dude? How? 11 is a cash equivalent? Yes. Of course it is. How is this wrong? Assuming what I wrote down is correct, 600,000 and 900,000 are included. 3. Okay. 5 is cash. Yes. 2. 8 doesn't count as cash. Because it's... Look at that. Maybe they count restricted cash as cash. Okay, well, if they count restricted cash as cash, we'll add the restricted cash in and see what happens. So we'll just add in which ones are restricted cash. Did I accidentally forget number 2? Yes, I did. Money market fund account is 5 million. I just simply forgot one of them, like an idiot. Now we should have the right answer. Yes. So the only reason I got it wrong initially was that I forgot one of them. So now we know how to do that. So we're done with 7.1. Are we going to have to indicate the proper reporting? Well, that's what that chart or table or whatever is for. So that. $7.2. Nope. Problem 7.1 apparently. Well, problem 7.1. This was a freaking confusing problem. So I think when I initially did this problem, I assumed that this was the amount before the adjustments, but maybe not. Maybe not. Stop! Well. Hey, look. I think my assumptions were correct. I wrote, quote unquote, without stunt, and I got the correct answer for without stunt. With stunt, how did they adjust everything? How did they adjust every account? How do you adjust the cash account? His final cash balance that he ended up with. What the? How did he end up with 22,200? How? How? How does this work? Oh wait, I'm an idiot. He ended up with 15,560 as his ending cash balance. But my cash balance was way different because I was an idiot. How did I mess this up? How come you subtract this number? How come you subtract it? He subtracted 45,000. What? How does that work? What? Why did the professor subtract that number from the original number? Shouldn't you add it? I'm just going to confirm something. Yeah, what on earth? What on earth? My brain is going to explode from not knowing why he subtracted 45,000. And then he added 22,200 for no apparent reason. Like, what? 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 I know where he got the 22,200 from. It's from this. So we know where that comes from. But what on earth? Why is this negative? Why? That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. I think I know what's going on here. I think I know what's going on. Yeah, that's why they added the cash disbursements and they subtracted the cash receipts. The reason is that this stuff here is the number, what the numbers would look like if you did in fact include those first 10 January days. And what you're trying to figure out is what it would look like if you didn't include those first 10 January days. It's so confusing. It's like do the exact opposite of what you thought. Is this type of question going to be on the test? I'm just going to look at what I wrote down. So cash receipt, to adjust cash to what it would look like at December 31st. Subtract the receipts. Add the disbursements. But for disbursements, what they did was accounts receivable do the same thing. You add the deductions of account receivable, because we're... Okay, wait a minute. $42,000 accounts receivable. Okay, so in order to adjust accounts receivable, this amount means you collected on accounts receivable. That means you reduced accounts receivable by this and this, because you reduce accounts receivable by this plus this, and a reduction of, in order to adjust it from what it is now to that, you do the opposite, which means you add it. Huh. Look at that. Accounts payable. And then accounts payable. So accounts payable decreased by this. Oh no! Are you kidding me? What are they doing now? You're supposed to... Oh wait, no. What does the word liquidated mean in this context? So they basically paid off debts of this much. That means accounts payable should have decreased. And therefore it increases, but no! What on earth? What is going on here? What is going on right now? Oh. Wait, no. So this... I know what's going on. It's because it's debits and credits. This accounts payable number went up with the January, but we don't want it to. We wanted to do the opposite. No, it went down with the January stuff. We wanted to do the opposite of the January thing, which means to go up. Did I make the same entries as before? No. My entries were not the same. They were very similar, but not quite the same. Nah, they weren't even remotely the same. So we want to change it from what it currently says to what it would have been without all this crap. We want to erase all of this stuff. We want all this stuff gone. And the way to do that is to do all of these adjustments up here. So in order to adjust that, we want cash we want to bring cash from 39,000 to 15,560. So they debited it and they credited it. They actually have purchase discounts because that was part of the question. They literally decreased sales revenue. Decreased cash. Okay, so accounts payable was increased. They increased the accounts payable because do I really need to spend so much time on this question when it might not even be on the test? This is why study guides would be helpful. You don't know whether or not you're wasting your time. That was fun.